Yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. Let the Philadelphia Eagles know exactly what they're doing. Hey, bro. Hey, the Eagles, they have a stacked ass roster. It was no reason last year why they should have been as bad as they were in the later part of the season. And it all starts with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, he had, how do I put this nicely, bro? It was a good season, but it was a bad season at the same time because he had over 3,800 yards passing, which is pretty decent. He had 23 passing touchdowns, but he also had 15 interceptions, which is not a good touchdown to interception ratio. And this nigga had, I believe, a 89, you know what I'm saying, QB rating, which is far from good as well. So I think Jalen Hurts is a good QB. But, you know, he just has his moments where it just puts the ball in harm's way, or he, you know what I'm saying, makes boneheaded mistakes. But let's go ahead and check this out.
I don't think that Super Bowl year is an aberration. I think he can get back there. But when you head into this season with so many questions to answer, it's not just the quarterback, it's the entire team. And literally, 2 months of them free falling. And no one had answers.
You could not have more to work with here now in terms of the quality on the offensive line, the quality at the perimeter position, the quality in the backfield at running back with Saquon, the quality of Jalen Hurts. And
like, bro, and I believe Saquon is really going to take them to the next level because, you know what I'm saying, Saquon, he was an elite running back, you know what I'm saying, at times for the Giants, but they had a horrible offensive line. With him now being behind one of the better offensive lines in the league, even though they don't have Jason Kelce anymore, I feel like Saquon is going to have a breakout year. And plus, you know what I'm saying, he adds another weapon to that receiving core, you know what I'm saying, because he can catch out the backfield. They already have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and then they drafted Johnny Wilson and Anais Smith, who are also great threats as well. And then you add in Dallas Goedert at the tight end position. There's no reason why this team should not make a deep playoff run this year. They have everything set in stone. All they got to do is just pretty much lock in, bro. Like, especially Jalen Hurts, he's got to lock in and play good, bro. If he does, you know what I'm saying, I could see him throwing for over 4,000 yards, possibly, you know what I'm saying, 25 touchdowns. I don't know about the interceptions, bro. I really don't. But I feel like the Eagles can be good this year. They have so much talent.
The Philadelphia
especially on that
Eagles
defensive
have
side.
consistently been seen as one of the premier NFL organizations since their meteoric rise in Super Bowl win in 2018. That made it even more of a shock when the Eagles had one of the greatest team collapses in recent memory over the back half of last season.
They finished 1-6 in their final 7 games. And in that 7-game stretch, they got outscored by 82 points. A complete 180 disaster.
God damn, bro.
I don't think that it's unfair to say we don't really know who the Philadelphia Eagles are with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts as that head coach and quarterback duo.
Jalen Hurts went from one of the greatest Super Bowl performances by a quarterback of all time to people questioning his legitimacy as a star. But why? And after days of research, I think I've uncovered why. And the interesting thing is that his 2022 and 2023 season weren't all that different, actually. In 2023, he threw for 150 more passing yards and 1 more touchdown in 2 more games. But you didn't.
But the interceptions, bro, the interceptions is crazy, bro. Like, like, look at the passer rating dropped down tremendously, bro. Like, he's got to work on this, like, because he was doing good last year, not last year, but in 2022 with taking care of the football. But last year, bro,
more passing yards and 1 more touchdown in 2 more games. But you didn't see him as an MVP runner-up. The big difference last year was turnovers, which he finished 3rd in the league with 15 interceptions, which is a huge contrast from the 6 he threw just 1 year prior. But I'm not here to tell you that the Eagles suck, because that's just not true. Although they do have some important issues to sort out after last season, the Philadelphia Eagles know exactly what they're doing, and in today's video, we're going to go over exactly why. Now, maybe the biggest reason that the Eagles have become such a dominant franchise in the NFL over the last 7 seasons is because of Howie Roseman.
No, Howie Roseman.
Yeah, Howie Roseman is
more first
bro.
round draft.
I don't know how he continues to do it.
Other GM in the last 5
Definitely
years.
top 5
Roseman
GM of all time.
Known as one of a select group of football geniuses, and for good reason. Year in and year out, Howie Roseman is able to make free agent acquisitions and draft moves that really appeal to the analytical side of football. And his incredible track record backs up his aggressive style. This has been shown time and time again through the A.J. Brown trade and even the decision to draft Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round with Carson Wentz still the starter. This offseason, season, Roseman attacked the Eagles' issues with the same ferocity and landed some great players that majorly improved the team as a whole. And the first one that we all know I have to mention because it just seems like a match made in heaven is the addition of Saquon Barkley.
Yes, perfect fit. Like I might actually like this more. You know what I'm saying? This fit more than, you know what I'm saying, with my Ravens bringing in Derrick Henry. This is a perfect fit for Saquon.
Close second. With that being said, if you Jalen Hurts, you have no excuse. None. No excuse. Imagine being a quarterback having Saquon in the backfield when you do that.
But I definitely think Lamar and Derrick Henry are going to be a better duo than Jalen Hurts and Saquon. Don't get it twisted now.
How much pressure is now on Jalen Hurts with the Saquon Barkley side?
Now, don't get me wrong. DeAndre Swift certainly wasn't a bad back last year as he had over 1,200 yards and 6 touchdowns on solid efficiency. But after 2 monster games in weeks 2 and 3, he never topped 100 yards for the remainder of the season.
Damn.
Barkley, on the other hand, should be able to consistently produce big games on a weekly basis. When the offense is sputtering like it did last year, Saquon can step up and be the workhorse.
Hey, to go back to that though,
on the other hand, should be able to he never topped
to go back to this though. There's no reason why he shouldn't have had just 2 100-yard games as well behind how good that offensive line is. So maybe Swift is not as good as we think.
100 yards for the remainder of the season. Barkley, on the other hand, should be able to consistently produce big games on a weekly basis. When the offense is sputtering like it did last year, Saquon can step up and be the workhorse that establishes the rhythm, allowing the rest of the team to function as it should. Like, not only is Saquon going to anchor the run game, he will also be a great check down for Hurts on passing downs with the potential to break away for a huge chunk play at any moment's notice. Like, this addition is going to exponentially just improve how this offense runs. And on top of that, it's going to make everyone's job or everyone else's job on the offensive unit just so much easier, including Hurts. And I think it's also worth noting too that this is like Saquon's actual first time being on a quote unquote like good offense. Like, I expect this dude's just efficiency to be just godly for what this team has in the offensive line and just again being part of a good offense. Like, this dude has potential for some insane stats this season regardless of his age. Now, another one of the main issues that needed to be addressed for the Eagles was that horrendous secondary that they did have. A year after Slay and
bro, the additions they made, bro, with drafting Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, and also, you know what I'm saying, bringing back CJ Gardner-Johnson, that secondary is looking scary this year. I'm not even gonna lie, because they can use Cooper DeJean in so many ways, especially how my Ravens use Kyle Hamilton. They can use Cooper DeJean in those same ways by having them, you know what I'm saying, the whole overhang safety in the box. They can have him in the slot and blitz and stuff like that. Cooper DeJean is that guy. That's why I was so mad when the Eagles got him
in 2023, recording a combined 62.5 PFF grade on the season while failing to come up with turnovers. But Howie Roseman knew what he needed to do and attacked the draft class, taking not 1 but 2 corners with his first 2 picks. The Eagles selected Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo with the 22nd pick, and what might be one of the biggest steals of the entire draft was Cooper DeJean out of Iowa.
It was a steal that he fell out of the first round.
Teams honestly investing these high of draft picks in 2 of the same positions, but the Eagles felt that they just could not pass these guys up. And even when Micah Parsons,
and what's funny is they're like basically completely different players too.
And I mean, these picks could pay huge dividends to the Eagles. Like, what was once an aging cornerback group that felt like they could no longer keep up is going to be young, fast, and hungry to
this probably means that Bradbury might be out the door soon.
4.33 second 40-yard dash and has the ball skills and stickiness to be a
was this the game he had 4 picks?
And don't get me wrong, Darius Slay is still rightfully listed as the CB1 on the Eagles official depth chart, with Mitchell as the 2, but having so much depth at the position with Bradbury as a reliever means that they have some great personnel.
Like, when I watch this nigga highlights, bro,
and just means that they have a lot more versatility with what formations they can effectively run. Plus, I mean, the decision to bring back CJ Gardner-Johnson at strong safety makes
this nigga's a villain
even more scary. And now, of course, the play calling was a little bit questionable at times last year, so they had to make a change there too. And I mean, it's not often that you see both coordinators get fired just 1 year after a Super Bowl run. But I truly think that shows just how bad the play calling was in Philly that they needed to.
Wait, don't they have Kellen Moore now?
On the defensive side, they brought in Vic Fangio, which is a huge upgrade and is going to run the same.
That defense is gonna be
16 that they
nasty with Vic
attempted to run,
Fangio.
with the only difference being that Fangio actually invented the scheme and knows it better than anyone else on planet Earth. Like, the only reason the cover 6 is as popular as it is today is literally because of Vic Fangio. Like, the dude is single-handedly responsible for making this movement to the cover 6 defense because it just limits the deep ball so well. On the offensive side of the ball, the Eagles picked up Kellen Moore after a 1-year stint with the Chargers, which at face value is not a great look, but the Chargers had a putrid offense despite having Herbert and Keenan Allen. But it is important to note that LA dealt with some serious injuries early on, like losing Mike Williams, and that roster as a whole was just pretty weak.
Then you also have Quinyon, Quentin Johnston, my bad.
Benefit of the doubt,
I butchered the hell out of his name.
Overlook the Chargers stuff. He did have a good run while he was in Dallas with Dak. In the 2 seasons Dak remained fully healthy while Kellen Moore was his OC, he threw for 4,449
this was
yards
back when
and
Dak was in MVP
4,902
conversation,
yards respectively, which are some pretty damn good numbers to say the least. Jalen Hurts, while he has substantially more rushing ability than Dak, has never eclipsed 4,000 yards in a season. Under Kellen Moore,
and that's why I said he might eclipse over 4,000 this year with the addition of Kellen Moore.
Or we could see Jalen Hurts turn more into a pure pocket passer, similar to when Todd Monken took over for Greg Roman as the OC in Baltimore and Lamar's game evolved. And look, dual threat quarterbacks are bringing just so many more dynamic pieces to offenses, but if Jalen Hurts is exactly that and hurt in January, then that just completely ruins the entire philosophy and just entire offense too. And now, as we've talked a lot about the key additions to this team, there have been, some pretty significant departures from this offseason as well that we're going to go over.
Didn't Fletcher Cox retire? I believe he did.
Factor of the Eagles this year. Of course, the most important two are the retiring of Jason Kelce and Fletcher Cox, who both will certainly be Eagles Ring of Honors inductees and
for sure
combined 25
future Hall of Famers.
Like, both of these players were staples of their respective lines and are truly irreplaceable.
Look at the mullet.
For Philadelphia, though, they really have prepared these offensive and defensive lines for these departures in the coming years or the years prior, and really, in my opinion, have done a great job with this too. Cam Jurgens should be taking over the center spot after only playing right guard during his rookie season, but the talent around him should help him get up to speed. Philly's also bringing back their left tackle, who just got a $66 million extension, Landon Dickerson at left guard and Lane Johnson at right tackle, and Tyler Steen, the rookie out of Alabama, is slated to fill in at right guard, which is undoubtedly the most questionable position on the line. However, considering just how talented the rest of this offensive line are at their respective positions, the Eagles should still have a top 5 to 10 unit after losing one of the greatest centers in NFL history, which is a commendable job by the Eagles. Now, looking at the D-line, Fletcher Cox is a huge hole to fill, about 310 pounds specifically.
But they, know what I'm saying, they already prepared for this by drafting Jordan Davis and then drafting what's his fucking name, bro? Jalen Carter, bro. I don't know why I was blanking on his fucking name, bro.
The combination,
but they already,
Jordan Davis
have their 2 defensive tackles of the future
in his absence. Many reports are coming out of training camp that Jalen Carter is poised for a breakout season, and with increased responsibility now that Fletch is gone, it seems as likely as ever. And there are a few more players that need to be talked about, or just their roles for this upcoming season, but none more important than AJ Brown on that wide receiver unit. After 2 no-shows in weeks 1 and 2, AJ Brown had a historic 6-game stretch from weeks 3 to 8 that saw him hauling 49 passes for 831 yards and 5 touchdowns. To put that in perspective, if Brown held that average over the course of the 17-game season, he would have been on pace for 138 receptions for 2,354 yards and 14 touchdowns, effectively shattering every yardage record ever. The only problem is he didn't carry that pace at all. In fact, he fell far below his usual production, averaging just 57 yards per game throughout the rest of the season. And I mean, the truth is that this really has nothing to do with AJ Brown's just talent as a player. You can probably chalk it up to like motivation, injuries, or just whatever you want to chalk up that just kind of fall off to. But I think there's no doubt that this guy is going to be posting big numbers once the season does come back in this year. And now, whatever that issue could have been that was holding him back, it's likely gone now. So I suspect that it was related to how he felt he wasn't getting enough looks in the offense. And if that's true, bringing in Kellen Moore should be huge for AJ. If Jalen Hurts spends more time in the pocket, that can only mean more targets for Brown in his direction. Like last year, we saw a glimpse of AJ Brown's true potential as he was a great receiver regardless, but we saw that next gear that he can hit. It went away when the team as a whole was experiencing issues, but if the Eagles right the ship and get back on the right track this season, AJ Brown could be destined for a career-defining year. And hopefully if Brown steps up his game, Devonta will too. If you look right around when Brown
Slim Reaper
last season, you can see Devonta Smith's targets go up pretty significantly, and that might have been some of the cause of Brown's frustration. But like I said before, the solution is just getting more targets all around, and that's exactly what Kellen Moore is going to do. Smith is a bright young star and one of the best wide receiver twos in football. The Eagles have to get him the ball as much as they possibly can. And now look, with all of that being said though, the collapse last year, that was for real. Like that happened for real. And like the Eagles completely fell off for tangible reasons too. Like the frustration between not only the players but the coaches, it was completely visible in all of those games that they lost at the end of the season. You could just see it watching any Eagles game. But none of that changes how just like absolutely loaded this roster is this year. This offseason was as good as it possibly could have been for
like
the Eagles with the
at least, bro, they got to make it to the NFC Championship game with this fucking roster they have, bro. They are way too stacked to not make a deep playoff run.
Of a scenario where Jason Kelce and Fletcher Cox don't retire, which is something that they had no control over. They brought in Saquon, stealing away from a division opponent and creating potentially one of the most deadly run games in football, maybe even deadlier than the Ravens. They completely revamped the secondary, bringing in several
buddy. I'm not even gonna say nothing. I'm not even gonna say nothing.
With a former player to give them.
Not even gonna say nothing. Bro. No, I'm gonna say somebody, bro. Let me know down in the comments, bro. Who would y'all rather have, bro? Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, or Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley? Would you rather have a 2-time MVP and a guy who ran over 2,000 yards a couple of seasons ago or a few seasons ago? Or would you rather have Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley?
Groups
y'all let me know down in the comments below.
On top of that, they replaced both of the coordinators with guys who could potentially elevate these player groups beyond the sum of their parts. Like, I mean, as an Eagles fan, you just have to be completely hyped for this upcoming season because the organization has literally given you everything to be excited for. And while there's still plenty of room for things to go wrong, as there always is in the NFL, it's just so unpredictable, there's also a lot of room for things to go right as well. On paper, this Eagles team is right up there with the Niners and Lions as the most talented squads in the NFC, just like last season. This time though, with the new blood in the building, let's see if they can put it all together. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comment section below. What do you think the Eagles record is going to be? For me, I think they blow everybody out of the NFC East and they end up winning that division. I'd say like 12 wins, I want to say. Like if everybody...
Yeah, because the NFC is not stacked at all, bro. I mean, because you obviously have the Eagles, the Niners, the Lions, who else is very very good in that conference, bro? I can't really think of like nobody outside of those three. Oh, the Packers, and the Rams are on the rise as well. So it's not as you know what I'm saying, compatible as the AFC, but I still feel like the Eagles should definitely get the 1 seed this year, bro, in the NFC.
And this team is as good as everybody's saying right now. They're going to be a 12-win team. They might even be the 1 seed in the NFC. Like the NFC is just so wide open right now. I truly don't know, but it's going to be a hell of a year for the Eagles with the Saquon
for sure,
and just all of it this year. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. How good are the Eagles, or how bad are the Eagles? Maybe, I don't know. Also, if you haven't, make sure you join our Discord. That is where all of our NFL activities and giveaways are going to be going on this year in the NFL season, as I am hyped to keep doing those. But as always, I will catch you guys in the next one.
Hey man, what do you guys think down in the comments below? Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on post notifications and notify whenever I drop another banger video. We're on the road to 300 subs. Tell me to get there for more banger NFL content like this. So without further ado, I'm out. Gang!